Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Good afternoon, Assalamu Alaikum, and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmed Nawaz with the latest roundup of sports today. And joining me in studios is our cricket expert and cricket commentator, K. Asif Ahmed. Assalamu Alaikum, Asif. How are you, sir?
Walaikum Assalam. I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm very well. Great to have you on the show. Now, we've got a fantastic lineup that we will be discussing, but we've got one more guest with us on studios who've been joined by a cricketer and cricket expert, Zuhaib Ahmed. Assalamu Alaikum, Zuhaib. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great. Great to have you as well. It's been a long time, of course. Let's take a look at the lineup on what we're discussing. We'll start off with Sri Lanka versus Australia. Australia's tour to Sri Lanka has been, a bit eventful. There was a great T20 series, but the last one, of course, went to Sri Lanka. The one-day series has been affected by the DL method a lot, and rain has not let anybody take a sigh of relief. First one day, of course, went to the rain, but Australia were dominant on the DL method. But this time, it was Sri Lanka's night who managed to clinch victory on the DL method, and they performed exceptionally well. They beat Australia in the second ODI by 26 runs. Sri Lanka performed exceptionally well. Like I said, these younger lot have got a lot of heart in them. Injury scare for Steve Smith, of course, is a concern for Australia now. A third ODI is going to take place on 19th of June. The series is level at 1-1. But the intent with the which you see in the Sri Lankan side, because Australia has gone with a full-strength squad, is something great to see. They're enjoying their cricket. It's a rebuild phase for them as well. The country is in political chaos all over. But the way they've handled their cricket, maturity is there, professionalism is there, and they've shown a lot of heart going into the game. So I think we really need to discuss this and discuss it in detail, because beating Australia is not an easy task. And after that, we'll be discussing something related, because the ODI rankings have once again seen a shift. Pakistan has now overtaken Australia, and they're on number 3 spot now. It's the first time Pakistan has gone to the number 3 spot in quite a while now, and it's more joy for us. After 15 years, we're on the 3rd spot. So Pakistan in the top 3 in the ODI championship, courtesy Australia lost that match. But one thing is for sure, that we're going into the World Cup, we're going in on a strong note, and we want to get a good side to take to the World Cup as well. The rankings will keep on shifting, of course, because all of these sides are playing their relevant matches related to the ODI championship. And of course, after that, we'll be discussing some more news from the world of sports, and we'll be telling you about tennis, the ITF Asia 12 and under team competition of South Asia zone as well. And we'll be discussing the detail there as well, where we've got lots to talk about. Pakistan is going to face India in the final. They beat Bangladesh in the semi-finals. Hamza Ali Rizwan overcame Rajib, and Abu Bakr and Hamza Jawad emerged victorious. So that is also on the show today. We're going to be talking about this. This is the lineup. Start off with cricket, of course. And the first thing is Sri Lanka beating Australia, because like I said, a lot of heart went into that game, and the scenes were there for everybody to see how much this victory meant for the Sri Lankans. It's not every day, Asif, that you manage to beat Australia in a one-day international, and Sri Lanka have managed to do that.
Yes, courtesy Duckworth Lewis method, and it was raining in Islamabad last night, same in Sri Lanka. So and it was good rain for Sri Lanka, but to be very honest, that I appreciate your comments about Sri Lankan cricket team, the way they are playing, and their head coach Mickey Arthur. His personality, as we were discussing yesterday about McCallum, and Mickey Arthur remained long time with the Pakistan as well. Pakistan have won Champions Trophy and is coaching and in the captaincy of Sarfaraz. So if you see that the Sri Lankan team, the way they are playing against a very strong Australian team, they got all main players in the side. If you talk about the Pat Cummins, David Warner, Finch, Glenn Maxwell, everyone is there. So it's a top-notch side, and Sri Lanka, and that's why Sri Lanka is celebrating. And it was a very good win. Their captain Shanaka, he played nicely. If you talk about their the target was not high, it was 219 just. But you know that whenever you are chasing, it's really important that you would have to follow the rules and regulations. And you see the weather conditions, the overcast conditions. Coaching staff and the management staff must be following that. So I think that Australia missed somewhere, and even the Steve Smith was playing so nicely and so attacking, but they were little late.
Absolutely.
And that's why congratulations to Sri Lanka.
Congratulations to Sri Lanka. Zuhaib, what would you like to add about this young Sri Lanka side? Fairly young now, a little bit of experience in there, But, win or lose, it's about the intent. And since that third T20, we've seen, even going into the one-day series, that the only thing they're doing right now is playing positive attacking cricket and playing according to their strengths.
Rightly pointed out, well, I think it's all about the hunger factor. As long as you as a team wants to win the games, so you can clearly see the results that they wanted to win the games. They wanted to win against one of the best sides in the world with the full bench strength of the Australian team. And the way they stood up, the captain led from the front. Although the rain did play their part, but end of the day, it's a team effort. They had the momentum started from the T20s. And at the end of the day, I believe credit goes to all the team, including the bowling, batting, fielding, and the coaching staff as well. Because it's not about just winning on the field, but off the field, there are certain things that you need to work on, and especially the mindset. So you rightly pointed out about Mickey Arthur. We can clearly see his impact.
Well, against Australia, Mickey becomes a different human being, right, Asif? He's got something personal to prove there. Any team is playing against Australia, and if Mickey is the coach, there is another energy that comes into the game. It's surprising.
Not only, Zoeb, if you see the Sri Lankan cricket team, they got plenty of talent. They've produced, brilliant cricketers, the legends even, Kumara Sangakkara, Mahela Jayawardene, Arjuna Ranatunga, Arvinder De Silva, Sanache Surya, Muralidharan, Chaminda Was, and then later on, Nawan Kulasekara. So Sri Lanka got the talent. The issue is that the same thing which earlier on Pakistan was facing, and still, the management issue. And when we talk about the management of Mickey Arthur, honestly, that plenty of experience is from, South Africa, and in Pakistan, even when he was in the coaching, though there was some problems, and some of the cricketers blame him, especially Omar Akmal. He was not happy, and he said that even Pakistan Cricket Board does know about the situation, that what's happening. But they were supporting Mickey Arthur. But apart from that, he's a very good, very good man. Being a coach, if you talk about his abilities, so of course that he's transferring all the knowledge to the very young talent, very young, talented Sri Lankan side.
Absolutely.
And as Zoeb said, that they got the hunger of, victory.
Yeah.
So that's why they're playing well, they're struggling well, struggling hard, and getting the good results.
I'll be honest, I was looking at the footage, and at one moment I thought it's Bob Woolmer standing in the dressing room.
You're right.
It clearly, resembled that, but it's great scenes that you see there. But Zoeb, what's so special about the Sri Lankan structure? Even if you look at their youth cricket, even on the women's side, now on the men's side as well, that be it any kind of problem that they're facing, be it the exit of their senior players, be it a political turmoil going on, anything that is happening, Sri Lanka still has enough talent, and that's a model to study for the entire world, that the movement of that talent to the national side becomes very particular.
Exactly, the country was under turmoil. There is no doubt about that, especially when you talk about the political issues. And if you go in the recent past, in the last 4 or 5 years, they lost some legends in the shape of Sangakkara and Jayawardene and whatnot. So obviously, it's not that easy for any team to come out of that specific zones and then start performing the way they are doing at the moment. So first thing first, it clearly shows that the country has some, immense kind of a talent. The only thing they need to do is they should have a right path and right opportunities to go well. And then, obviously, you polished all those skills with the right infrastructure and abilities to be at the right stage at the right time. I think I can clearly see that in the near future, the team will shine a bit more, considering the fact that the ICC and their own national board will start, giving some comfort zone to the players and giving them the right platform to be at that stage where they can definitely not only compete, but also defeat the top teams in the world.
What do you think is the case with Australia now? They clearly have the World Cup in mind. They're bringing a full squad to Sri Lanka because they realize conditions might be a bit similar going into next year's ODI World Cup.
Exactly. Sri Lanka, the conditions is always and has always been the toughest in the world. I remember Imran Khan when he played in Sri Lanka, and he said that it's one of the toughest conditions, especially for the fast bowlers, because when you have a spell for 3 to 4 overs, I think you do not have enough energy or fluids in your body to carry on that. And I think that cost, this is one of the main factors for the Australian team as well. You can clearly see that they might be facing those issues of humid and whatnot. And on top of that, the conditions of the wickets, the behavior of the wickets, the seam and swing conditions, and then you can also have some grip on the wicket for the spinners. So yeah, Sri Lankans are using the conditions to their one of the best utilizations, and on top, yeah, obviously if senior teams will supposed to come to Sri Lanka for the bigger events, they should be prepared not only physically but mentally as well.
Ask a very particular question about Team Australia now. They've got a fantastic side, very, very mentally strong players, talented. They know how to accelerate any given moment, any run rate, they can chase it down. We know about that. And batting from 1 till 11, that's possible for Australia. But do you think that, this is just my personal question, that they're still missing somebody in that middle order who can probably bat through? Because with that aggression, you always have a chance of getting out. But to construct or carry an innings somewhat, if we go into the past, we saw being done by Mike Hussey, maybe Sean Marsh, maybe Michael Clarke, somebody else like that. So that individual who can actually have that role, Usman Khawaja in the recent past we've seen, can just carry the innings and you can have acceleration on the other end.
Well, I think that you're missing Michael Bevan, and that's why I'm mentioning his name. The Australians' mindset is really brave, and they are really confident, and they don't, they do not take any pressure. See, if you talk about Ricky Ponting batting on the number 3 with the strike rate of more than 100 all the time. If you talk about either the Damian Martin, or you have taken the name of Mike Hussey, meanwhile, if you talk about Steve Smith and Glenn Maxwell, so I do not think personally that they do take any sort of pressure. So they're really friendly with their game, and one thing they keep in their mind, that is only to play positive cricket. That's it, and nothing to worry about that. If either the asking rate is 8 or 10, or either it's the 4, they will go with the same mindset.
Same plan.
Just take 3-4 singles and go for 1 boundary, and you'll be touching your results.
Well, that's a different approach that we see, Zohaib, that mostly if we talk about Pakistan, we're always told from club cricket level to play the entire quota of overs, take the game as deep as we can, bat till the end, take it to 50 overs and we'll chase down a target. But teams like Australia will put your strength to your own test, because they will bring you an attack, and what England is doing right now, they'll come with you with an attacking mindset, with a run rate that you can not easily control, and will try to take the game away from you rather than playing the entire 50 overs.
Exactly the mindset for Australians, and as you mentioned, the England cricket team and New Zealand and in India sometimes as well. It's all about keep putting the pressure and keep building the pressure so that the other team cannot even lift their head on top of that. So I think, that's what they used to do in the past. They were pretty confident about that. Even the recent past, they were brilliant when you talk about batting. But the point you raised earlier about having a player in the middle order who can play the anchor role in the shape like we had done Michael Hussey and Michael Bevan in the past, Michael Clarke and whatnot. Certainly, this is one of the missing factors. You have the aggression here, but it has to be a combination of both aggression and a control aggression where you can actually build the innings. So at least in the last few overs, you have someone to go out and just have a blast. So using Maxwell at the top of the order while having Finch and Warner already opening the batting, I think this is something they certainly need to work on, because to me, the right number for Maxwell, especially in the ODIs, is anywhere between 5 to 6. And number 3, 4, and 5, there has to be a stable player like Sean Marsh who can literally take the innings till the very last few overs where you can go all out. So wickets in hand in ODIs is very important. You can clearly see the example of Babar Azam and Rizwan and whatnot, and Mamulaki. The way he's playing, the way he's carrying the innings till the very last 10 overs and then giving the authority to the lower middle order to go and have a blast. This is an ideal situation for any team.
That's very important. And why I say this, because I understand that we've got a World Cup in conditions where completely attacking mindset might not work with spinner element coming into perspective. You're playing a 50-over World Cup next year. With those conditions, you might need a campaigner who can probably carry the innings. But that being said, we know that there have been visible improvements and changes in the ODI rankings as well. And we've got to look at that. We'll be discussing that. Pakistan has moved up to number 3 now. They've overtaken Australia. They're at number 3 spot after 15 years. Of course, they had a clean sweep of the series against the West Indies, 3-0, the ODI series. Then, of course, Sri Lanka beating Australia in this one day that we were talking about. That means Pakistan has improved their ranking. So, Asif, one more thing to celebrate now.
Yes, and rain is bringing good news for Pakistan anywhere. Yes, good news that, and that's why Australia came up with their full strength. They do know that it's really important that if you are beating with the good results, let's suppose Pakistan beat New Zealand with 3-0, and Pakistan got good ranking in ICC ranking positions, as Sri Lanka beat last night Australia, and Pakistan is celebrating that, of course. So yes, on the other hand, Pakistan is playing good cricket. Yes, some concerns are still there that on a very serious note, either we are working on our fast bowling system, bring some talented player. But our system is, I don't know, from last couple of years we're missing that system, because Zohaib is remained the part of that system. He was the domestic cricketer. He knows that how important was the club cricket, and after that, when we talk about the departments,
then first class cricket, yes.
Then first class cricket, of course. So I think somewhere is that we are missing.
That's a very important point that you mentioned. Let's take a look at this report regarding the rankings, and we'll take the same question forward.
Pakistan overtook the Aussies and claimed the third spot in the rankings with a 106 rating. The Aussies slipped down a position after their loss to Sri Lanka in the second one-day international by 26 runs. Pakistan's cricket team has climbed to the third place in ICC one-day international rankings after a period of 15 years. New Zealand has the first, while world champions England claim the second spot currently. India is in the fifth position. The Babar Azam-led one-day international side has displayed phenomenal performance in the format, winning 4 series out of 5. Last week, Pakistan surpassed India on the one-day international ranking after 15 years. This year, Pakistan clinched the 3-match one-day international series against Australia by 2-1 and then whitewashed West Indies last week. This is Pakistan's second jump in the one-day international rankings this month.
There you have it, all you need to know about the rankings. Pakistan is now number 3 on the ODI rankings and the ICC ODI Championship as well. 8 teams are going to qualify directly for the World Cup. The rest will be playing qualifiers. So Pakistan is on a very good position with a couple of series to go. Now, Zohaib, as a first-class cricketer yourself, you've been part of the structure. Of course, Pakistan has a lot of positives that we have been discussing, but there are certain issues that we need to find out. One being the middle order issue, but I think even bigger than that is an issue of finding the right partner for Shaheen Shah Afridi in the one-day format, which is now becoming an eminent problem, because we've seen it coming from Chairman PCB as well on various platforms. It was quoted, not official of course, that there are bowlers but they're struggling with line and length. So has our system now only focused on developing bowlers for 4 overs only, and we're missing that line and length element and those longer spells?
Congratulate not only PCB, Pakistan cricket team, Babar Azam, but all the fans of cricket in Pakistan that this is something big, being at number 3, top 3 after 15 years. So we truly deserve to be happy on that. Coming back to your point, you mentioned 2 different points, one in the middle order, one in the with the new ball partner for Shaheen Shah Afridi. And the most important thing that you mentioned, that are we producing the players only good enough to play the shorter format? Like if he's a bowler, he can only bowl 4, and if he's a batter, he can go out and play 12, 15 balls. That is something ironic. I think we need to work on it, specifically when 50 overs World Cup is right at the corner. We are still struggling in the middle order. We are experimenting with different players who are just showing you a glimpse of talent in some PSL innings, and then he's gone picked up for the national squad. I mean, there has to be a maturity in selection and has to be a maturity in giving chances to the right players. We just spoke about the Australia that they are struggling in the middle order. Luckily, we have some players in Pakistan team in the shape of Babar Azam and Imamullah who are literally taking the game away from any opposition in the first. They took out the power for about 70% of the game. But just in case if they collapse, what is the backup plan for that? So it has to be a good middle order batsman. We do have some talented players, but I don't know for certain reasons whether it could be liking and disliking, or there are some other personal issues where the selectors are not picking them up. But yes, if you look for the brighter future of Pakistan cricket, there has to be right balance in the middle order. Coming back to the point on the fast bowlers, Shaheen is obviously stood out. He's one of the best, but bowling is all about, or getting the wickets is all about hunting in pairs. We saw in the past that Wasim and Waqar were bowling in pairs. We saw in the past Asif and Amir were bowling in pairs. But yes, certainly Shaheen Afridi is missing a partner. Hassan Ali is here, but he seems to be off color some days. One day he came back absolutely fresh and it looks good. So it's all about consistency. You have to be absolutely consistent to be at that stage where we don't even look for other options. But yes, if you think, or the selectors or the national team with the captain himself think that, yeah, we need to look for other options, or the young players need to stood up with consistent performances, this is certainly Pakistan cricket needs to work on.
Asif, if we just particularly focus on this middle order problem, as Zohaib mentioned that Imamul Haq, Rizwan and Babar have been carrying you brilliantly and they've not let the opposition penetrate you as far as your batting lineup, lower batting lineup is concerned. Now, if we look at our games in the recent past, what we've played is, and no offense to the Pakistani team, not much quality coming from the West Indian side on that level as you talk about the top 3-4 best teams. What happens if Pakistan is 30 for 5, 50 for 5? What happens then?
Then 70 all out. See,
you still have Shadab Khan down there.
See, it's really important, when we talk about that, and as Zohaib mentioned, that personal liking and disliking, this is actually destroying the structure of Pakistan Cricket Board. And this what happened with Kamran Ghulam scoring plenty of runs in domestic structure, even not getting the chance in Pakistan side. Who is the responsible for that, and who will give an answer? I'm not against Abdullah Shafiq, but who is speaking in the favor of Kamran Ghulam? One thing. The second thing is that if Babar Azam, Rizwan and Imam, if they got out early on and Pakistan 30 for 3, who will be strengthening Pakistan's innings? Because we do know that Khush Dil Shah is very good, some power hitting, but he cannot play a long innings.
But I've heard your sources told me that maybe in the World Cup we'll see Shoaib Malik filling in that position.
It won't be a good news, honestly. It won't be a good news for Pakistan cricket. We want fresh blood. We want energetic guys. Once again, I'm not against Shoaib Malik, but see, if you are talking about that he played good against Scotland and Afghanistan, and then after that he wasn't the part of Pakistan cricket team even, and now you are bringing him again suddenly in the World Cup squad. So I think that it won't be justice, not only with the Pakistan cricket, but with the youngsters as well.
Absolutely.
So I think this is the question, still need to be an answer.
$1 million question.
$1 million question. I don't have an answer, honestly.
Well, Zohaib, what about that number 5 spot? Do you see anybody who you think can fill that position? Because even if we look at the last top performers of the One Day Cup that happened in Pakistan, you can say about 80% of them have been openers. So if you don't have an opening spot available right now, that number 5 spot, people are still discussing that, okay, Iftikhar is going to come into the side. But like I said, there are still options available that Babar might go to for the World Cup only, and you never know. You might see Shoaib Malik coming in, considering he's got a great record in India.
I think number 5 is a spot where you need a consistent player. For example, like you just mentioned that Pakistan is down 30 for 3. You need a player who just not only carry the bat till the 40 overs, but he can have a good strike rate as well. And we had seen in the past that Iftikhar is not a bad option. He's in the team for the last at least 2 to 3 years, if I'm not wrong. He won a few games for us as well. But on top of that, before that, you can see Haris Sohail was the one who has been doing a good job, a decent job. Then he had some issues with chief selector, and then we have to let him go. On top, you have Kamran Ghulam. On top, you had Saud Shakil. He had some injury issues. So you have 3 to 4 different options in that specific number. But it all depends upon, and even I would like to mention the name of Shan Masood there. The guy has been performing all across the globe. Although I know he's a top order player, but if you try Haris at number 4 and number 5, who is technically an opener, and if you try him at number 5, why not Shan Masood? So you have to do the decisions where the requirement of the team should fulfill. So imagining the condition that we are down for 30 for 3, and in those conditions where it's not easy for any middle order, especially without experience, it won't be easy to tackle the pressure. So you need experienced players in the shape of Haris, in the shape of Iftikhar, or you can even try Kamran Ghulam. I mean, the guy's been performing exceptionally well in the domestic cricket, so I think this is the time to give respect to domestic cricket as well.
Absolutely. Zohaib, thank you very much for joining us on Sports Extra. That was first-class cricketer Zohaib who was talking to us regarding this entire scenario. And I think it opens up a big debate, but I'll say final trick question to you now. Trick question. I say it when it's a trick question. It's a tricky one. Shan Masood is performing brilliantly, so is Imamul Haq. Why not make both of them an opening pair for Pakistan in one-day cricket and bring Fakhar Zaman to number 5, because even in T20 cricket we saw Fakhar coming down the order. Maybe he can play the role that probably Maxwell plays for Australia.
Then Babar Azam required some brave decisions, and I want Babar Azam to see that as a brave captain if he's coming on number 3 or number 4, but I think he's not ready for the sacrifice.
Definitely. So Asif, there wants brave decisions to be taken. But Asif, thank you very much for joining us on Sports Extra. On that note, we'll go towards a short break. When we come back, we'll have tennis. Stay tuned. Right, time now to discuss tennis, and we'll be discussing the youth affair in detail as well, and about Pakistani tennis. Pakistan is going to be facing India in the finals of this category that we're talking about, and of course Pakistan has won big. They already beat Bangladesh, and now they're going to be facing India in the final. To talk more on this, we've been joined by tennis player Mohammad Abid Mushtaq, who's also the captain. Abid, Assalamu alaikum, welcome to Sports Extra.
Ji, walaikum assalam.
Abid, thank you for joining us. First of all, tell us about the tournament and the way Pakistan has been performing so far.
Yeah, Pakistan is playing well, alhamdulillah. They are beating Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. Now they are qualifying for the world group. We are unfortunately we are lost from India today 2-1. First two singles, we won first single and lost second single 1-all. Then we lost in the doubles, so we lost from India today. So now we are both the teams qualify for the Kazakhstan for the world group.
Absolutely, that we've qualified, but playing against India, obviously a tough opponent, and the infrastructure and everything comes into perspective. But how was your preparation going into the final against India?
Yeah, preparation was great. The boys are really hard working, and they are ready to beat India. They are ready to do anything. They are playing like a champions. But the day is very important. The day is not in our the day was tough for us because the second single, our first guy who won the second single, he was tired because he won the second single in the third set from the Indian number 1 guy. So he need to take a rest, but they are just giving 30 minutes and then start the doubles match. So that is the main issue. Our boy need a more rest, then we can win the match. But unfortunately we have a lot of chances, but couldn't avail that.
Well, that's true, but we should be very proud. Of course, you had a great semi-final against Bangladesh as well.
Yeah. Bangladesh is not like an Indian team, but they are good. But our boys are on that day. They are playing very well. They are beating 3-0, two singles and 1 doubles, 3-0 easily.
Right. So, Abid, what are the areas do you think that we need to focus on and work more towards? Obviously, the technical game itself and the fitness of our players.
Yeah, our now these boys are very hard workers. They just need to right path for the training, right direction. Need international matches, international exposure. Need our players. They are not playing international matches. That is the main reason. We need international matches for the juniors. Then they can play easily with anyone players. They are playing like after 1 year or 2 years they are playing the international matches. So that is the reason we are underdog.
Well, I think we still should be very proud because you have put on a great show. Congratulations to you and the entire team.
Yeah.
And of course, all the best for your future.
Thank you.
Right, Abid was talking to us, tennis player and the captain. Well, Pakistan have lost to India in the finals, but the thing is that they've already qualified for the next group stage that we talk about. And of course, that is a big achievement. And these boys will be getting more training and will get more fit as we talk about this, and will go on with their future matches with an even more technically sound game and more physical fitness as well. But one thing is for sure, even if they lost, they've put on a good show, managed to beat some top quality teams and make it to the final. That's a huge achievement in itself, and we should all be really proud of these young boys as well. That's it for this edition of Sports Extra. From me and the entire team, it's goodbye for now.